Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jenny will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And today, I have with me, once again, for a repeat conversation and to help you, because this is a bonus episode to top all bonus episodes this year, because there have been a few of them this year, guys. But I've got Deb Drummond back. You guys probably remember me talking with her before about becoming number one in your company and how do you do that. And she reached out to me and she showed me what she's working on right now. And by the way, if you haven't listened to the episode with Deb Drummond, don't worry. We'll put the link in the show notes to go listen to the first one. But she told me what she's working on right now. And I was like, stop the presses. Stop all publication of my episodes. We are doing an episode as soon as possible to get Deb in. So Deb, welcome back to the show.
Oh my gosh, Jenny, you're like my best self-esteem buddy ever. I just want to make you into a little voodoo doll and sit you on my desk.
Okay, I will have that made for you.
All right. We're going to start on my podcast. I'm going to sell the Jenny doll.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to reach out to somebody because I know somebody can create that as some merch on my website. There we go. The Jenny cheerleader doll is what we'll have.
All right. I love it. Bam.
So Deb, we've talked before. You are from the world of entrepreneurship and direct sales, network marketing. You've been doing this for decades now. And what you've been working on for the past few years as one of the additional arms of your business has been a planner and a tracker that helps people in business, especially those who are in network marketing and direct sales, to be sure. But it's a planner and tracker that can be used by anybody, right?
Absolutely. It's an entrepreneur. I say that it's an entrepreneurial planner. If you're in direct sales, you will love it 150%. If you have people that you want to encourage in terms of sales, or you have a team, whether that's a volume team, a sales team, a management team or whatever, you're going to love the verbiage. But absolutely, I'm really excited.
That's awesome. So let's go back a few steps. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to get into the world of planners? Why doing a planner now? Because so many people are like digital, and you're like paper planner. What got you there?
Okay. Well, two things. One is that when I was 31 and I'd already been an entrepreneur at that point for about 5 years, I was working, I had a paper planner. We didn't have digital planners back then. So paper planner. And it went out of print. Now, please keep in mind, there was no Google. There was no Facebook. There was no resources. I literally went from bookstore to bookstore. I went to the yellow pages and called, and I was like, this is the planner that works for me. And it was actually called the Women's Day Book. And it wasn't so much that it was for women as much as it had beautiful women photography. That was here nor there. It was the layout and the structure that just got me so successful. It just worked for me. And we all know when something works for you, right? Like we know what our systems are, what have you. So it went out of print and I went crazy. And somewhere deep inside, I remember it. Like, if you're like, do you remember the moment you said you were going to do a planner? I said, yes. I was 31. I'm 57. Okay. So look, maybe it took me a little while, but no, I'm kidding. So what got me to finally doing it was two things. One is I've tried every planner. Like, people go, so how did you decide how to do yours? I'm like, years of frustration and research. Honestly, the same frustration that probably gets people into direct sales in the beginning is something wasn't working. I needed something. either, people don't have enough money and the month is still going on or whatever it is. But I was really frustrated with I literally since then have lived off 2 planners and a duotang, because I would find a planner that was really great at, like the business questions, maybe nothing about personal development, or I'd find these women's day planners and nothing against them, but it wasn't helping my business to track my menstrual cycle. Right. And so they'd have all these great things for women. No, truly. And that's
Right.
super cool. Like, I mean, super cool if that's you, but it wasn't helping my business. So there's these personal ones, there's these business ones that were like, very stark, nothing, tiny little print. I'm like, who does these? Like, who munchkins does these? Or you had like from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'm like, what, you do nothing before or after that? Like, I put my personal stuff in, like it just was too business or too personal. And I literally had 2 planners. And I know I teach brain health, Jenny, you know that I'm a huge advocate of brain, studied it forever. And this is what I know. I know when you write things down, your retention level is beyond the 80%. And when you type things down, it's less than 30%. So even when I go to an event, I'm the person that's writing the notes on paper. Even if I never read them, I can recall very quickly. And so I've always functioned off a paper planner. Paper planner sales, by the way, went up 40% last year. And people are getting digitally done. They're like, when can I not look at my phone? Now, I love my phone. I have an intimate relationship with my phone. We're all usually, they say that the world by nature is 1 arm length away from our phone at all times. So we're in an intimate relationship with our phone, but people do get digitally done, or they're concerned about losing it, or they don't back it up. Okay. Everybody doesn't back their stuff up. I don't know. I've had that experience. So there's something really fundamental. And because it's a personal development journal, that it's a reverse engineer. My thing is top performance. So at the end of the week, you are writing about how your week was, cheer yourself on, or evaluate yourself. Like, let's have some realism. And then you go into planning your next week. And so that takes some required print, writing. There's something very beautiful that comes out when you're writing, which is why everybody loves journals. Do you know what I mean? When you're writing compared to typing. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's the truth.
I love it. So is this the first year you've done a planner, or I feel like you've done it before?
Yeah, this is the 2nd year of this planner.
That's right.
2nd year of this planner. I did the first year was last year, and huge, great reviews. I was, I made myself very vulnerable. I'm like, if there's something that you need to change, how did it go for you? How did it work for you? I put myself through the same process I put everybody else through, right? What do we want to tweak? What do we this? We have these super cool quotes, right? People can hover. Gosh, we got to get you a quote. You got to do a quote in the 2020, right? So 2023 will launch in September for 2020. So we got to get in the 2024. But there's these incredible quotes every Monday. Like, people are like, I love inspiration. I'm like, okay, how can we be innovative? So every Monday you go to your QR code, hover over top with your phone. You get a beautiful square quote with someone's signature, right? And someone who wants to inspire you. And I can embed a video. I've even got this incredible musician. So we embedded him singing this incredible song, right? So super cool stuff like that. So people that it's a paper planner that jumps off your phone digitally, just for those people that want that digital piece. But I can send that quote. I can send that video. I can send you saying, hey, guess what? This is your Monday badass, inspirational message. But because their social media will pop up when it comes on their phone, and they can send it anywhere in the world. Like, cool stuff like that.
Oh, fun. I love that. And I mean, because that's something that lots of people need, that regular kick in the pants, that motivational thing, that inspirational thing. And so to know that when you get a planner like this, it's already there, ready for you. You just have to open the damn thing.
Well, yeah, open the damn thing. That's a good point. But yeah, and here's the thing, it's very full and it's very complete. You may not use all of it, but there's things that there's, one of the things that I hear from entrepreneurs is, I don't post enough. I don't do lives enough. I don't, social media, because they don't have a social media strategy, and or they don't have the budget for a social media team that they meet with once a week and they go and do that. So there's actually even social media tracking. There's tracking, like if you've listened to a podcast a day, or 10 pages of a good book a day, or like there's self-care tracking. And it also doesn't just categorize your business. Like there's 5 elements of your life that you get to what I call reverse engineer. So what's your goal at the end of the year? And so what's your physical goal? What's your, business goal? What's your spiritual goal? What's your health goal? And then reverse engineering is so powerful, because what happens is when you know your end goal, but you actually have it in your book at the end of this month or the end of this quarter, here's the cool thing that people don't think about. They're like, let's say let's make it really easy. They want to make $100,000 at the end of the year. And so they're 1/4 of their way through their year and they've got sales of 30,000. They're like, woohoo, they have an opportunity to do 1 or 2 things. Look to see what they've done, because it's tracked. Ooh, I made 3 calls. I called these people. It's tracked. So you can just keep duplicating what's working, or acknowledge what's not, right? If you're not there,
Right.
and or you have an opportunity to change your 100,000 at the end of the year to 120 because it looks like you're on par, or take some freaking time off. You're rocking it. You get to schedule more other time because, right, it's a time money thing. So the cool thing about knowing the information is you'll never get halfway through the year or at the end of the year and go, well, that didn't work, or I didn't hit where I wanted to hit, and you won't be surprised why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a top performance trainer, I really use the correct verbiage to draw the right activity. And so it's not a planner that's going to reprimand you. It's going to be a planner that reveals to you. So when it says who's the top 3 people you're going to call this week, you stop calling your sister-in-law, who, honest goodness, she's not interested. You've called her 12 times. She's not returning your texts. So when you say top, your brain automatically goes to who's the top 3 and you write their name down. Guess what? Your sister-in-law is going to call you anyways. You know why? Because you're focusing on the top 3. And now all of a sudden you're shifting. That shift. It's a slight shift. But when you compound that shift week after week after week after week, and you're not doing any different activity, you're calling 3 people. It's just that your brain is giving you 3 different names because I injected a different word to create a different neuronal experience. You don't have to do it. I tell people that I coach, I'm like, look, save some money. Get the planner. Like, we can talk about other things. Like, I can take you through it. And seriously, it's true.
Right.
It's true. Right. So this planner came also out of a big time for me where I'm like, it's time to give it away. Like, it's time to give it away. We just talked a little bit about a project I'm working. It's time. It's time. People kept saying, how do you walk across the stage? How were you number 1 for 5 years in a row? How did you How did you do? And I said, you know what? Let me put this together. Yeah. And now you can just go get it. And I've got a nice little audio. Like, I QR coded the whole training. So you can listen to that, right? So
right, exactly. And I think that's brilliant, because it's not just a planner that is a book that shows up on your doorstep. You're going to get the video, the audio, because I think you sent me a nice little preview of what goes with it, to be like, here's how you use it. And I was like, oh, that's so cute, so smart. It's brilliant, because it's not just to go figure it out your darn self kind of thing. Yeah. Right? Because how many planners, I can tell you, I've invested in a lot of them. I just invested in a digital one last year for my iPad. Guess who used it in January and then never again?
Right.
This girl.
And that, I mean, for me, and that happens. The one thing that I like about direct sales is that you can do it anytime, anywhere. And so I made the planner lightweight enough, right? Because you got your first half of the year and your second half of the year that you can take it with you. Like, there's people so whether you're, we say that, right? If you're waiting at the doctor's office, if you're waiting to pick up your kids and you're in the car, if you're, whatever, your wife's gone in to get the grocery shopping and you're sitting in the vehicle and you've got some, like, you can pull things out and look at it. The other thing that I think is really great about a paper planner is that when you look at the month, and you look at the weeks, like for me, I like to plan like how much energy I'm expending. You know what I mean? Like, so when you have like a little tiny thing or your calendar pops up and you're like, I don't feel like I get the full picture. That's just me. I just feel like I don't get the full picture, but you can take your planner with you wherever you go. And the way that I put it is because there's also a tracker for some people that want to use that, but I consider that planner like almost like how can I put it? I say to them like it's like the best accountability partner, right? It's like your personal assistant and accountability partner. It's like, it's right there. These are your goals. These are your decisions. You can change them anytime. And there really is questions. You know what? I mean, I say it's the best of Brendan Bouchard, who loves talking top performance, and the best of Brene Brown, who loves talking top personal development. Like, it's just a place you get to be real with you and your business. And if something's not working, it shows itself instead of you having to figure it out. Like, I don't know what's happening. I'm calling my people. I don't know what's happening, but it's just the verbiage that helps you do the same thing a little differently. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and then you'll have your own sense of momentum with it.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes just making that little shift, like you said, it compounds over time, right? That 10% doesn't seem like a lot until you look at growing by 10% monthly, 10% weekly, 10% daily, depending on what you're doing. That growth adds up over time. And when you look at numerically what that would mean for you, if you grew your sales by 10% a day, if you grew your team by 10% a month, huge numbers, because that keeps going up and up and up each month, because more sales, 10% is more team members, 10% is more. It's amazing the differences that happen from those little tiny things over time.
Well, and the cool thing is, I love that you mentioned team, because I know we're going to talk about the tracker, but keep in mind when we're talking about the tracker about team, but the teams that are on the same planner, they're like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet, because they're incredibly momentous with each other and they're talking the same verbiage, just like when you join a company and you talk that same verbiage, right?
Right.
So there's that, but there's also like, if you've got 2 or 3 people underneath you, you're an accidental leader. And there's, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't do these people, but because you're reading off your pages and you're getting success, you can actually share that. You can say, hey, you know what? So who's your top 3 people? Or let's make a list of something this week that could get in your way of your business. Because that's one of the questions, like what could throw you off this week? Right. And the second question believes that, so what could you do about that? Because if you have something that you're concerned about, but you have come up with a solution and you've written it down, 9 times out of 10, 1, it won't happen. 2, the anxiety about it happening is gone, because you have psychologically told yourself you have a solution. And so it no longer becomes an angst. It no longer stands in your way. You no longer think about it. Those things you can do with your team, even if they don't have a planner. You can use this as like leadership material. It's super cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So you have the planner, helps you plan things out.
Yes.
Tracker. What's the difference between planner and tracker in your mind, and how do you define that for people?
Right. Okay. So your planner is your personal assistant, right? Your planner has everything. You can put it there, good to go. You have a rhythm. You know what you're doing throughout the year. You have control. Fantastic. The tracker was the thing that came out of a big necessity, because you're a big player. You're an income earner. You got a name. People go, hey, right? How did you get this? How did you get that? How did you get it? Like, they put these things on the leaderboard. So, I had the highest trip volume that the company's ever had in history. I had, and I've had, let me see, number 1 in customer acquisition and brand partner acquisition. 2 years in a row and no one's ever done it ever. So you get this question a lot, Jenny. I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that? How did you do that? How did you
Yes.
do that? Right. And I'm like, and you don't have 2 or 3 hours with every single person and you want to. So it came the time that I had to duplicate myself. And so I thought, this is the best way to duplicate myself. I'm super successful. I've shared it to the detail with my team. I said, you want to get across the stage? They're like, yep. I'm like, do this. They're like, really? I said, do this. And, across this team, they went. So I'm like, let's do that for the industry. You know how much I love this industry. I don't really care. Like, it's not about keeping it to myself. So I finally put what I call, now, if we hear the word follow up one more time, we're all going to dry heave, right? So don't think of follow up. I call it profit calling. I have changed the name because when you hear follow up, all you psychologically in nanoseconds say, I don't do that enough. I've got these leads on my, I don't, right? And it's not a positive, it's not a positive conversation. So I've changed it to profit calling, right? And the exact system that I used all these years to get my butt across that stage, or the check that you want. I never did it for the accolades. I did it for the check. Straight up. I had bills to pay. Straight up. I didn't care. Like, oh, you got number 1. I'm like, I don't care. I just need to pay my kids' school. Like, honestly, I was shocked when I got number 1, I was like, is no one else doing anything? Like, how could that happen? So the point is, it's a system. The point, and it comes with a video, or like of me talking people through it. It comes up with really great statistics, and it really does feel like you are following up and profit calling with a friend. Like, you will feel like I'm there with you, coaching you through. It's perfect for the person who's never, ever done this industry before, because the first part of the book is split into 3 sections. The first part of the split, it says 100 people lucky enough to be contacted by me. Right there, you're doing a paradigm shift. Not 100 people I'm going to call because I'm going to annoy them. Just put your 100 people down. Then there's a section for you to put how you contacted them, because in this world of text, email, messenger, Instagram, phone, blah, 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 you need to know how you contacted them. Then you get to mark down how they want to be contacted. You flip to their form. But I'm telling you, you know this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even today I was like, me and Jenny are texting. So, like, you got to remember how you're communicating with people, right? Then the next section is you take that person and you move them over to the 14 profit calling follow-up system. You don't let anyone go till you've had that 14th, and it tells you when, where, at what point do you, send a text, send an email, send a this, and then when do you need to make the call? It's got a section for you to find out information about them, because when they tell you, you're going to write it down, right? And it teaches you how to go through that second step. Because look, at the bottom line is, I don't care who you are, me included. You don't make sales by nature. If you make sales on that first phone call, that first time they met you, you're probably at a trade event and you've gone through the first 3 or 4 things because you're talking to them and whatever, right? I mean, you know me, I love live events. So you've gone through the first 4. When people make a purchase from you, if it's on the first, that is the exception, not the rule.
Correct.
The rule is it's got to be, money doesn't start till 5. Please understand that. It doesn't start till 5. It doesn't start till 5. And if you don't have the chutzpah to stay in there for the 8th, which most of you don't, because you think by the 3rd time you're bothering them. I go through all of that. I go through the psychology. I go through why. I go through how. I go through when. And I get you through this process. Then you get to the last section. And these people have carried over. There's things that you carry over, and then you get to the last section, and it's like money all day. It's like raining distributors. It's raining products. It is like cheer on, cheer on. And it's that same continuum of system. And here's the thing. People say to me, well, I'm not a paper person. I'm a digital person. I'm like, oh, really? They're like, yeah. I go, so all your follow-ups are on digital. They're like, yep. I'm like, let me tell you where they are. I said, you have a digital desk. And that desk is a friggin' mess like the rest of our desks. And you've probably got some on Messenger and Instagram and email and in your text. And I said, so you've got a messy follow-up system, because here's the deal. I should be able to say to my whole team, We've got a promo Black Friday. We got a promo Christmas. We got a Mother's Day sale. We got a Father's Day sale. We got a, love your pet day sale. I don't give a frig what your company releases. And you should be able to grab all your leads within 6 minutes in one place, in one location, and you should know exactly the last conversation you had and when. If you can't do that, you won't be number one in your company. That's just the truth. And so when you have it in a book, and I don't care, you have it in a book. Here's the thing. I have a book for my customers. I have a book for the people that I'm prospecting the business for. If I do other things like podcasts, I got a book for podcast guests. I got a book for, like, look at, if you're an entrepreneur, which is an entrepreneur that can't say no. If you have, if you have more than one direct sales business, I'm not putting all my people from this company in with this, you know what I mean? I'm separating it, because when I want to build this business, I grab one book and, oh my gosh, when's the last time you literally legitimately got a rainbow of referrals? If you went to your book and you have these people that have made it from the first section to the second section, so they kind of have a rapport, and you contact them and go, I am so excited. 2023 is going to be the business year of my life. And here's what I'm doing. I'm offering blah, blah, blah for referrals. I know that we've had some, conversation. You haven't purchased my product yet. Hopefully you know enough about me that I'm in and I give excellent service. I'd love for you to be my customer. I'd love for you to brand partner. But you know what? More than anything right now, I'm really asking if people have referrals. Do you know anyone that needs whatever your product is, skincare, brain health, Tupperware, whatever your stuff is?
Right.
I'm really looking for people that are looking. Is there anyone that crosses your mind? Because a referral with a name will get you a meeting every single day. Now you have books of referrals. The other thing is, when I'm working, right, you train, you coach people, me too. And so when I'm coaching somebody and they have to make $10,000 by the end of the month and it's the 15th, I go, grab your book. We're not talking to anyone new. I only want us to do a strategy around people that you've talked to 4 times, because now money's coming. Money's coming between 4 and 12. And let's see if we can get your 5th people. And now we have a whole list of people that this person has talked to. You can use this like gold. Those books are gold. So there I say to somebody, try doing that digitally.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. That's
and honestly,
brilliant.
What the book's like $33. Like, seriously.
Oh my gosh, y'all, you're going to make that back in your first month.
Yeah.
You're
just
going to
feeling organized is worth $33. Just having all those things off your desk. No more stickies. Like, just that feeling that is worth your $35 or whatever.
Deb, I'm feeling super called out because I've got 2 stickies right here on my desk.
You know what?
I've got a sticky on
business cards. I love business cards. I love when people give them to me because it reminds me. But you know what? I have it's so good. It's so good. And start off with, if you hear nothing, 100 people lucky enough to be contacted by me, and this is an ongoing process. I don't care if you've been doing this game for 20 years. I have.
Yeah.
Like, just because I'm 20-year veteran doesn't mean I want any more stickies or desks or people all over my digital than you do. Why? Right. And now imagine getting a team of 2 people or 3 people or 5 people. Like, look, if you're going to buy a bottle of wine for someone in your team, stop it. Go buy them a tracker and give them and yourself the best gift. You know what it's like? It's like when you buy your partner lingerie. It's a win for everybody. That one's just for you, girl.
Oh my God, I love it.
Right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So now everybody's like, okay, I like the idea of this planner, or I like the idea of the tracker, or I like the idea of both. Where can we send them to go look at getting this for themselves, and or maybe a team member or a rock star on their team, or maybe people who are on the verge of becoming their rock star on their team? Where can they find this? How can we do this?
Absolutely. So it's really simple. They can go to debdrummond.com.
Okay.
They go to debdrummond.com. They can go, there's a whole page just for the planner.
Perfect.
There's a video so you can watch more. There's a page just for the tracker. So you get to hear exactly what we just said. And then they click that button and they put in your promo code, which is,
Yes. The promo code is BADASS. BADASS. All one word, BADASS.
Yeah.
Of course, because that's what we do here.
Yeah, of course. And that's basically it. It's really, really, really super simple. And then it gets delivered right to your home anywhere in the world.
Yes. So what she's saying to you guys is you as a listener, as a regular badass crew member, are going to get preferred pricing on the planner. You're going to get preferred pricing on the tracker if you put in the code BADASS at debdrummond.com. And okay, if you've been listening for a while, you know the code is in the show notes. You know the link is in the show notes. But if this is your very first time ever listening and you're like, oh, I want to do this too. What are these show notes that you talk about, Jenny? All you have to do, as long as you're not driving, grab your phone, click on today's episode, click the little see more button there or see more thing, and that's going to pull up the show notes. Scroll through the show notes. You'll see a big link that says debdrummond.com. Click on it. That way you don't have to worry about spelling it right, whatever. Go find the planner. Go find the tracker. Is there a combo for them both? Can they buy the whole bundle of everything all at once?
No, you know what? Because we just had that conversation. Well, they can.
Okay.
Yes, they can. If they go to the planner,
okay.
If they buy the planner, because planner's on a company called Lulu.
Okay.
And so we have the planner and the tracker both there. But if you go and you order the tracker, that's on Amazon on its own,
Okay.
which is a little, if you're just going to do the tracker on its own, then like, if you're not going to get the planner, go Amazon because it's quicker, a little bit quicker, particularly if you're in Canada. Because of course we had this conversation about Amazon not doing coil.
Yeah.
Please. So you can get it together on the Lulu. So if you buy the planner, you can buy the tracker, but if you're going to just buy the tracker, just go straight to Amazon. It's a little quicker.
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know. Because I should have asked that beforehand, but I just realized, oh my gosh, if somebody wants everything? So perfect. So if you want all three of them, just go find the planner page on debdrummond.com and you'll see the bundle there with the tracker and all the things all together all at once. So that is awesome. Deb, thank you so much for allowing us to get this amazing tool at a preferred price. Thank you so much. We're not listing the price here because I'm sure prices are a little bit different in Canada versus US versus Australia versus wherever.
Absolutely.
So you'll just have to go look, but you're going to get preferred pricing with using the coupon code, the promo code, BADASS. Deb, you're amazing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for what you do for the industry. This is such an important industry. I always say that we are the most equal opportunity employer. And I know that we work really hard to get people to understand and recognize this as a profession.
Yes.
This is a profession. And thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for having me on. And this is always fun. It's like the funnest podcast ever. Who else can I tell them it's like lingerie? Who else can I say this?
Well, they might cut it out, but I'm going to highlight it.
Okay, it's like chocolate. Okay, it's like chocolate. When you give someone chocolate, they tend to share.
Yes, there we go. That's still funny. No, absolutely. No, we'll keep it in because my podcast is listed as explicit all the time.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, all the time. That way we're free to say whatever we want and I don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about it. You know what? I do want to say that for anyone that is looking to have a better business, that when you have things like planners or trackers, like that is an investment in yourself as much as it's an investment in your business. And when you see it, like the one thing I want to do a shout out is because our team worked really hard to produce something that honestly people pay $300, $400, and $500 for. I know because I used to pay it.
Yeah.
And what you're going to get in here at a fraction of that is absolutely like, just think if you take this planner and sign one consultant, 2 consultants in your year, you've paid yourself back. So we've taken the hit so you don't have to. So really, honestly,
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Well, Deb, again, thank you so very much. And Badass Crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.